Number 6. When dealing with enemies and rivals, our greatest problems are often caused by our own overreactions. When we take the time to rationally assess the situation and make an appropriate response, these kinds of problems generally don't occur. Overreacting sometimes has a sort of rebound effect that causes our adversaries to overreact as well. Therefore, the next time you find yourself beginning to react strongly, resist the temptation to fight back. Instead, turn the other cheek and back away from the confrontation. Most likely, you will find that this lessens the aggressive behavior of other people. Their expectation is that you will react fiercely, so they are caught off guard when this does not occur. In fact, your surrender can actually serve as a strategic move, part of a larger plan to fool others into thinking you have been defeated. Number 7. At first, it was thought that the Internet would be controlled by individual users, as opposed to conventional editors and gatekeepers. All the content would be developed and shared by the users themselves. However, this turned out to be unrealistic. The network expanded so rapidly that moderators were needed. It would not be possible to navigate the information on the Internet without the guidance of search engines. Online relationships would not be possible without the structure of social networking services. Furthermore, the credibility and reliability of online news would be questionable without editors controlling the content. In fact, the more information contained in a medium of communication, the greater the need for organization and management.
Number 8. The cheapest way to transport crude oil from Canada's oil sands to the U.S. Gulf Coast would be through a pipeline called the Keystone XL. But construction of this pipeline has been delayed. According to the U.S. State Department, the construction of the pipeline would create about 42,000 jobs and about $2 billion in earnings in the U.S. However, the pipeline's opponents argue that those numbers are inaccurate. For example, they claim that only about 50 of those jobs would remain once the construction is completed. They also note that producing crude from oil sands leads to more greenhouse gas emissions than traditional drilling processes. Nevertheless, the U.S. State Department claims that because the oil will be produced anyway, the Keystone XL would have an insignificant effect on emissions. Still, environmental groups reject that conclusion, saying that the oil ought to be left in the ground.
Number 9. In economics, a continuous increase in the price of goods and services over time is called inflation. It occurs when a government increases the amount of a nation's currency in circulation, causing the relative value of a unit of currency to fall. As the levels of prices rise, a standard unit of currency will be able to purchase fewer products. Throughout history, this has been observed in numerous societies with a number of different forms of currency. In the case of gold currencies, governments would melt down pre-existing gold coins and mix them with other metals, allowing them to issue more coins with the same value as the original. By both lowering the cost of making coins and increasing the currency supply, the government would profit from an increase in what is known as seigniorage. Consequently, consumers would be forced to part with more coins for the same products due to the decrease in each coin's relative value.
Number 10. Buyers and sellers rarely enjoy complete information about the quality of goods. In such circumstances, goods are likely to be incorrectly valued, causing the deal to fail. For example, a typical used car buyer would be willing to pay $20,000 for a used car that's in good shape, but only $10,000 for one in poor shape. Suppose the seller of a good car wants $17,000 to part with it, while the owner of a beat-up model will sell it for $8,000. If a buyer had full information about these cars, he could strike a deal that would be fair for himself and the seller. In actuality, however, the true condition of the car is mostly hidden from view, so he just decides to go for an average price of, say, $15,000, no matter which car he buys. Owners of good cars are unwilling to go that low, so they withdraw from the deal, leaving only vehicles of poor quality available.